Good evening, everyone. This is Farquhar News. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Joanna. Today we'll be talking about COVID-19 and its effect on the environment. Off to you, Ron.
Oil.
Everybody loves oil, but with nowhere to drive, oil prices are going down, down, down. Take a look at this chart. See how it's going down? Oil companies are in pretty bad shape right now. The demand for oil has plummeted, and investors are not happy. Saudi Arabia and Russia, for example, who are infamous for its oil economy, increased production just as the pandemic slashed the demand for oil. Professor Bernard Haeckel at Princeton University says it reflects a strategic shift by Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, saying, "With a global clean energy transition inevitable, he is desperate to cash out while the kingdom still can." Oil companies were already under pressure from their investors over climate crisis regulations, and with oil investment returns dropping from 20% to 6%, sustainable energies are looking to be very profitable. There's a historic opportunity for companies to pour investments into greenhouse gas cutting technologies. This could mean the beginning of a cleaner, greener future for the world. Back to you, Jackson. Let's take a look at how these countries are grappling with COVID-19. Less than 6 months ago in India, Delhi was gasping for breath. Air quality had reached dangerous levels, over 20 times World Health Organization's safe limit. Schools were shutting down, flights were diverted, and people were asked to wear masks in polluted areas. However, when India shut down 2 months ago and suspended all transport to contain COVID-19, Indian officials gained an unprecedented opportunity to examine how pollution levels have responded to such an event. Federal pollution control authorities quickly reported a marked improvement in air quality in 85 Indian cities. Now, the question that's being asked is, what does this mean for India's future? Well, to put this in perspective, in 2014, to prepare for the meeting of the heads of 21 major Asian Pacific economies, China implemented widespread policies similar to those put in place by the Indian government, leading to a drop in pollution across major Chinese cities and resulted in a long-term improvement in China's pollution issue. Experts are doubtful that this will lead to a permanent improvement in India's pollution problem, but only time will tell for sure. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Jackson. And now, more on the COVID-19 pandemic. In early January, news sites were dominated by bushfires, climate change, and carbon emissions, soon to be taken over by the infamous COVID-19 pandemic. But today we're going to take a look on how COVID-19 has directly affected our environment in negative and positive ways. Starting off with air travel. Air travel has taken a major hit this year for obvious reasons, one being the order to shelter in place and social distancing rules. This will predictively decrease greenhouse gases immensely, given the fact that it takes an immense amount of carbon and jet fuel to run a plane. Airplane emissions of carbon dioxide reached over 900 million tons in 2018 and are projected to triple by 2050. And yet, suddenly, demand has dropped drastically. In the first 3 months of 2020, 67 million fewer passengers flew in Europe compared to the year before. In the U.S., domestic air travel has fallen about 40%, according to NPR. Though cancellations have been greater worldwide, the U.S. has yet to put in domestic travel air restrictions. Still, while this cuts greenhouse gas emissions immensely, the result has been mass layoffs and involuntary unpaid leave. Now, moving on to how COVID-19 has negatively affected the environment. To start, there has been a spike in poaching in many countries during lockdown, as well as being bad for wildlife that raises the risk of exposure to new viruses. In cities of rich countries, it means less traffic and less pollution, which can give wildlife space to thrive during this pandemic. But in rural parts of poor countries, it means some people are being driven to extremes and to support themselves through poaching. Environmental agencies had reported an uptick in deforestation during lockdowns, as well as increases in poaching, animal trafficking, and illegal mining worldwide. The trends are alarming. Environmental experts say could be very hard to reverse. Brazil and Colombia have seen an uptick in illegal logging and mining. The Philippines have also reported illegal logging and wildlife trafficking. Kenya has increased bushmeat and ivory poaching, as well as increase in charcoal production, which was made illegal in 2018. Cambodia has seen an increase in poaching, illegal logging, and mining, and similar reports have come from Venezuela and Madagascar. What we can tell is that the COVID-19 pandemic has obviously made a big impact on everything, our environmental health especially. Anyway, thanks for watching.